What's up everybody, welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to teach you exactly all about the JavaScript promises. So what is JavaScript promise? So before we move any further, I want to tell you something. So before the JavaScript promises, we have some other things like callback functions. Like if you want to call the multiple callback functions, we need to nest the callback functions. So inside of the functions it becomes like a callback hell. So that is really very pain in the neck to the developers to maintain the code, to read the code, or to debug the code. It is really big pain in the neck. So that's the reason we are not using the callback functions nowadays. We are using the promises. Software year 6 promises are actually introduced. So promises are really a great feature. So in this video I'm going to teach you exactly what is the promise and how the promises actually work, and how to catch the errors, and how to call the multiple promises in one single go, and how to get the very fastest promise. Okay, so we can learn a lot of things in this particular video, guys. Yeah, so without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So first and foremost, what is the promise? I already wrote something over here, you can see. So what is the promise in JavaScript? So the promise is for the execution of asynchronous operations. So what is the asynchronous operation? I will tell you. So basically, if any kind of code executes after some time, or that is called one kind of asynchronous operation. Let's say, for example, if you call any kind of the API, that API returns some data after some time, because that is the asynchronous operation. Or if you ask to the user to enable the camera, or to enable the location from the browser, so these things are actually take some time. It takes some permissions, it takes some time. So when you are dealing with any operation, it takes some time. So that is all that is we can call like a asynchronous operation. Okay, so we are using promises, that kind of operations. So this asynchronous function has the two things. If the promise returns successfully, the resolver function is called, and if the error occurs, then the reject function will call. Okay, so what is all about? We will talk a little bit deeper about the resolver and reject in a bit second. So just for now, just keep that in mind. A promise is for executing the asynchronous operations, and it has the two functions, the resolver and the reject. And the resolver function, when the resolver function calls, then the promise will get the success, and when the reject will call, then it throws some error, things like that. Just that's it, guys. Okay, so nothing complicated here. So we will see what about this promise in the code. So action. So basically I wrote some code for the time being. It is very pretty much simple code. You can see I just took one function. The function name is order, and I'm passing one argument to this function. So this function expect one argument here. So after this creating the function, I just created one const variable. The variable name is my order, and I instantiated a new promises. This is actually creation of the promise. Here I created the promise. This is how you actually create the promise. Okay, so take a const and give some name here and new, and give the promise name. So just keep that in mind. You have to use the a capital letter, not the small letter, doesn't work. So you need to use the capital letter only. So I created a promise here. So I instantiated here the promise, and this promise has two arguments. So one is the resolver function, and this is the reject function. So when this resolver function executes, this promise is actually pass or success. So when this reject will call, so this promise will fail, or it throws some error. Okay, that's it, guys. Okay, just keep that in mind. So this call, the promise will success, and if this reject call, the promise will fail. Okay, so now inside that I just took one the set timeout function to make some asynchronous call. I don't want to make the complicated things to get the API and fetch some data. Okay, I don't want to do that kind of complicated stuff. That's the reason I just took one simple set timeout function, and I am just passing 1000 milliseconds or 1 second over here. Okay, and simply I am returning this function. Very simple. Took a function and just I created one promise and one set timeout. Okay, and just I return this one. And now I am going to call the resolve function. So this is the resolve function. In this resolve function, I took the backticks. I got the item, just something like that. Okay, so Alright, it is working fine. Okay, so now I need to call this function. This is the promise. Okay, I created the promise. So now I wanted to call this function. So it actually, return one promise. It returns the full promise. Okay, so just let me uncomment this one. You can see. So I got the promise. Okay, by the way, I'm using the coca.js. So this is a very great plugin. You can, if you want, you can also use that. So alright, here you can see I got the output. So this is actually not the result. I am getting just the promise, entire promise. Let me check what actually this promise is returning. So this promise returning something here. You can see this is the type promise. Okay, so the prototype is promise. So this is actually the promise, and it actually passing some two other things. One is the status of the promise, that is fulfilled, that means success, and the result of the promise. So in this case, I got the chicken. So what actually I did here, I took one const here and just I'm calling this promise function, and I'm passing the chicken here. Now I'm going to, actually I'm trying to pass multiple orders, and I will check how the promise actually works. In this case, I'm actually passing the chicken over here, and I'm checking the output. Here you can see I got the three things. That is the promise actually returning, and fulfilled, it is the status, that is the fulfill, and I got the chicken. Okay, so alright. So this is actually the promise which it actually returns. But the thing is, I don't want to return this total promise. I want to return only the value of the promise, the result of the promise. How can I achieve? So let me check that how it actually accomplish. So you can see similarly I took one my order just a variable, and I'm just calling the order function. So in this case I'm passing the chicken, the same variable over here, and I'm actually calling the then function. This is how we actually calling the promise. Here you can see the same thing what I actually took at the top. So I did over here also. So just took the then, and this is actually expecting one callback function. Okay, so take the then, and this is the callback function. So I'm returning something here. Just for now, remove this one. Let's save it. You can see the then, and this is expecting one callback function. I'm consoling the output over here. So now you can see I got the chicken. So is it working properly or not? Let me save and check once again. So because what happening here, so I'm passing one argument, and just I'm calling this promise over here. So is this coming after 1 second or not? Because I'm just passing I'm actually using one set a timeout function. This is actually asynchronous function. Let me save that, and let me refresh it. Is working after 1 second or not? Okay, it is working after 1 second. It's working pretty much fine. Yes, it is working. Okay, so far so good. This is a very simple thing. Just we need to pass one argument here, and we need to use the then method to get the value of the promise. So what if you want to get the multiple items? Now I want to order some more things. Let's say now I added chicken, just after that I add some eggs, and I need to add some nuts, things like that. So how can just accomplish that one? Okay, so I will tell you how to pass multiple items to the promise and get executed. Okay, so for that, let me uncomment this one, and let me remove this one also. Okay, let me save it. Now you can see this I'm passing three items. First one is the chicken, and second is the eggs, and third one is the apple. Or we can just take some nuts, something like that. Save it. Okay, after 1 second, after 1 second, after 1 second, nuts also came. Everything is working fine. Okay, what actually I did? So how I actually wrote the code for the very first time, like to get the chicken item. Similarly, I wrote like this. You can see here I took the then, and just take the callback function here, and I'm just passing that item to the console. I'm returning some new item, nuts here, and similarly I took the then function, it expecting the callback function, and I'm consoling that. So pretty simple code. Okay, so multiple times I'm using the then here. Okay, so not complicated. Let me refresh it once again. Everything is working fine. Okay, all right. So by using this kind of the method, you can call, you can pass multiple items and you can return the promise like this. So now we are going to touch a little bit about the this reject function. Okay, how actually this reject function works. As I said you before, so when this resolver calls, then we will get the output from the promise, like that is the success, and if the reject pass, then it goes to the fail. Okay, how actually it works, now I'm going to try to explain you. So for that we need to use the catch method. Okay, remember, to achieve this one, we can use the then method, and if we wanted to achieve this this reject method, this reject function I should say, we have to use the catch. So how do we actually use the catch method? Okay, here you can see, if you wanted to do that, we have to use the dot catch method. I think you already know, some of the people know the catch method. We have to use the catch for here, and we have to use the catch for here and here as well. So do you want to do like that? No. So we don't want to use the catch method multiple times, just we can use only one single time. That is the beauty of the promise. So how many items are here? Eggs and nuts, apples or fruits, bananas, how many items are here? It's not really matter. So we just use to catch it one single time, and this is also a callback. It expects one callback function, and you can just 1 second, yeah, like this, and you can just console that one, save it. So this is how we actually using the catch method. So okay, so catch method is completed, but it doesn't work, so because I haven't called the reject function over here. So how can we do that? So to do that one, so you have to use something like this. Let's say, for instance, so I'm going to take one if condition. So I'm taking the item, so which I'm getting from the parameter from here, item dot includes. All right, I took the item dot includes. So if the item has any wrong item, like, so apple, let's say you have the apple, something like that. So, and I need to throw some error. So now I need to call the reject function. Okay, so reject, and inside that reject I need to write some error, like wrong order, something like that. Okay, so let me save it, and now I'm going to check. So if I pass any kind of the wrong order, let's say, for instance, if I try to pass any item, so like apple, you can see now I'm passing here the nuts. Now if I try to pass apple, so now see, so what I want to get here. Okay, see, I got the wrong item. So what if I get, like, let's say, for instance, if I just remove this catch method, and if I call only this reject method, let me save it. Now you can see, so the promise actually throws its own error. You can see passing something like wrong order. So if you want to get some customized error, something like that, I just need to use the catch method like this. Let me remove this semicolon here, save it. Now everything is working fine. Okay, so if you want to handle any kind of the errors, things like that, you have to use the catch method, and it expects one callback function and it throws the error. Okay, so before that you definitely has to mention the reject method, reject function I should say, and we need to pass some whatever the error over here. Okay, so that is actually the reject work here. Okay, so far so good. I hope you understand. So what if you want to call all those things in one single go? So let me save it, and how actually output coming here, you can see. Let me refresh it once again. So these outputs are actually coming one after one. Okay, let me refresh it. 1 second it is coming, after 1 second, after 1 second it is coming, like that. But I don't want like this. I want the output in one single go. So all the items has to output in one single go. How can I just try to accomplish? Okay, so for that I just need to comment all those things. So I already wrote a lot of code here for the time being, so uncomment this one. So this is very simple code. Just I took the 3 variables. I am passing the 3 arguments here. So chicken, eggs and nuts. So very self-explanatory. So I will try to do something here. Let me uncomment this. Now you can see I got the chicken. So this is very self-explanatory. So order one, just I took the order one, the constant name. This time calling the then function, then method, and this expects a callback function. I'm consoling that one. Okay. So similarly, I wanted to add some more things also. Let me uncomment this, save it. Now you can see I got all those things. How actually it is working? Let's see the output. Are these all coming in one single go or coming one by one? Okay, let me refresh this one. You can see, yeah, refresh once again. Yes, everything is working pretty much fine in one single go. But there is a problem here. So this code looks a little bit weird. So I'm calling the then method and I'm passing the arguments in multiple times. This is not actually the correct way. Seems not a good way. Okay, so is there any way to achieve this one to make the code simplify? Okay, you can do that. There is a method is there. You can just comment this one. Let me show you some other thing. Okay, so let me uncomment this. So this is the same thing. So before that, what actually is you're actually seeing over here also. So order 1, order 2, order 3, and passing the 3 items over here. And let me uncomment the actual code here. And now you can see. So before that, I will show something here one by one. So JavaScript has some kind of the static inbuilt methods. The very first method is the all. So what actually alls do? All is actually a static method. So it takes one kind of the array. So and it expects some some items. So order 1, order 2, order 3. You need to pass all those promise objects or promise things or items, I should say, over here. And so what actually this promise all do? So this promise all calls all the items in the promises. Okay, and it will return something like this. Let me save this. Now you can see it is consoling something in the array format. Okay, you can see this is the array of 0, array of 1, array of 2, something like that. Okay, so by using this all, you can get the result in one single go. So in this case, you can see the top side I already wrote that code. So in this case, this code is actually looks a little bit weird and so much bad. Okay, so you can see here in one single line I wrote everything and it is working pretty much fine, and it is also in the array format. Okay, it is working in one single go. Okay, all right. So so far so good. So now I wanted to execute something like array of objects, something like that. Is there any way? Yes, we have. So instead of using the all, you can use something like set all settled, something like that. So this is also Java. This is also promise inbuilt static method. So by using this one, you can see the output like this. Here you can see a lot of some other things also. In the Java promise.all, you can get only the result. But if you use the all settled, you can get some more things like you can get the status also, promise status also. Let me show you. You can see I written the 3 objects, array of objects, the status of the first object, and you can the value, and status of the second object value, and similarly like that. Okay, so by using like this, you can use something like that. And how can we achieve the problems, like if you just face any kind of error, something like that? So before I pass the apple, right? So similarly I will pass the apple. Apple. Let me save it. So it has to throw something error like that. Okay, let me do some catch, and it expects a callback function. Oops. Okay, let me save it. Now you can see, yeah, this is the wrong order. Just told you before, you can see here I already check one thing here. I put a check item.includes as the apple, it returns the wrong order. Here you can see I'm getting the wrong order like this. Okay, looks good, right? So I will do a little bit trick here. So instead of calling like this, just cut this something like this, and I will take one constant here. Take the const handle error, something like this. I will pass all these things over here. Let me save it. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it in the catch. You can also use like this. Let me see, everything's working fine. So I should get a wrong order like this. Yeah, so everything is working fine. So you can see here I can use this error handle in multiple places. Okay, so this is like a reusable factory function. You can use like that. And one thing is pending, so let me remove this. There is some other static method also, that is arrays. So promise.arrays, let me save it. Alright, how actually the race work? Race is also one kind of a static method. It expects the the actual promise items. It iterate all those things, and it will executes the item which executes very fast. Let's say this takes a 5 seconds, this takes a 2 seconds, and this takes a 1 second, something like that. And it will check the time, and it will execute which items executes faster. So in this case, the item 1 is executing faster. That's the reason. So it consoled something like I got chicken. Okay. So we can use the race when you want to execute the faster items. Okay, I hope you understand. So promise is very simple, guys. Just expect the two things. One is the resolver and the reject. If the resolver pass, then we will get the success, the promise success, and if the reject will pass, then so the promise returns the failure or some error, something like that. Okay, so nothing complicated. I think you understand everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any kind of the questions, please comment in the below. I definitely answer you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next video.